You know, as I walk down the hill towards the water, in my mind I'm thinking, I didn't catch any fish in practice. I don't know what I'm going to do today. I have no idea what to throw. I am clueless as to how this day is going to go. Uh, Confidence is not the highest, but I'm determined to go out here and just fish and try to figure it out. Just read the water, look for the clues, throw the usual suspects, and try to catch some fish. I had no other expectations than just get a bite. Little did I know that today would be filled with some highs, some lows, and then in the end, a disqualification out of left field. Stay tuned. Here we go. Trail stop number 2, Chesapeake Bay, Sassafras. Let's go. All right, at this point, it's literally a coin flip. Just launched from the ramp. Not sure if I should go right or left. If I go left, I can flip docks, I can fish bridges. If I go right, there's some shoreline and then there's a creek, I can't remember the name, that looked interesting. After looking at millions of docks, it seemed like to the left, I decided to go right because I knew I can always come back to the bridge and fish it. But somehow or another, I never made it back to that bridge. In fact, I never made it past this point. Once I turned right, I never came back. I fished the rest of the day in this area. And it turned out to be a good decision. I didn't know it at the time, but this bank is literally the scene of the crime. Well, where I catch my first DQ ever. And it's funny. It's funny. That's all I can say. You'll see. Stay tuned. This tree up ahead is literally the tree that caused me to catch a DQ on one of my fish catches. It stirred up a little bit of a controversy, and I will get into that a little bit later, but I'll let the video roll. All right, now at this point, I'm pretty stoked. I actually caught a fish. I can't believe it. I caught a fish. And this fish is going to get me in trouble later on in the video. I had no idea about this little known rule in kayak bass fishing that I would soon be educated on. But this fish right here apparently caused it. It caused me to catch a DQ. Alright, so I caught this fish, and now this is the proof that I actually released it. And you're going to see it in a little bit where I let the fish go. There he goes right there. Alright, he's in the water. You see him? He just swam off. Alright, so there's no way I held on to this fish and, saved it for later to fill out a limit. I let the fish go, and that's the end of it. Alright, so I'm working my way down the bank. I even fished the same tree that I caught the first fish in a second time. So I'm moving down the bank, and this happened. And this gave me my second clue today that they're on wood. Now keep in mind, I'm flipping to the same laydown multiple times. So that was just a pattern for the day. You had to really work the tree. You had to work it slow. And usually you would get rewarded, like right here. Now at this point, I'm super stoked because I have 2 fish. And I'm coming off of practice where I didn't catch any fish. In fact, I didn't even get a bite. So this is just, I'm just elated right now. Can't believe it. Alright, so this is fish catch number 2. And I just wanted to show you the release. Let you know I didn't hold on to that fish and tie him on a line and hook him up to my kayak and ride around with him and try to add him to the Attorney X later on in the afternoon. I released every fish I caught. My buddy Jim, my good buddy Jim, I ran into him while he was fishing his own tournament, and he was a sight for sore eyes, I gotta admit, because he knows the bay pretty well. And when I fished with him, how I met him, he actually won the tournament where we met, and I was his co-angler, and he had one hell of a day. So every time I see him, we always talk about it. And he just had one hell of a day, and it happened to be the day that I caught my personal best, which was a 6-pound, 47-ounce bass, and that thing looked like a football. I never seen anything like it.
He's the guy. When you caught that big one in my boat, he's the one that caught the big one as a co-angler. Because I thought you had it. That 6 1/4 you caught, I thought for sure you had it. He wanted catching a 697 that day.
697?
Yeah.
That was a magical spot, man. You were on fire that day. The day you won?
Yeah.
He was on fire, man. I mean, he could throw his car keys in there. He would have still won. He was
It was that rattle trap, man. Remember? That red one.
I went straight across the street to Precision and bought up all that rattle traps. I still haven't caught nothing on that thing. I know they work.
Yeah, they work. I I've caught one on a disregard. No, no.
All right. So after I met Jim, I continue on with my day, and my whole goal was just to duplicate the pattern of just flipping wood and seeing what I can find. Just finding any piece of wood cover that I can toss to, and just see if I can get a fish off of it. And that was the only pattern that I worked the whole day. Just try to find some wood and see if you can find a fish, because it seemed like they were hanging on the wood. And it took more than one cast. I mean, you had to pitch into trees 5, 6, 7, sometimes 10 times to get a bite. Here's my third fish for the day, and it was a good one. Alright, and just to prove to you that I released all of my fish that day that I caught, I didn't hold on to any fish. Here's the fish release for the third fish that I caught that day. And you can see him swim off right there. Alright, sorry for the camera angle, guys. I didn't adjust that before I launched, so I didn't get good angles with the camera, but still in the same creek, just continuing down the same bank and the same pattern, just flipping the wood all day long. Just flip, 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 flip multiple times, fishing the same piece of cover multiple times. And it paid off again for the fourth fish. Now this is important because this is the fourth fish that I caught today, and I need one more to catch a limit. And this is where the controversy starts. And unfortunately, this is also where my battery dies for my GoPro. So I have no video footage of me catching the fifth fish, but I do have the previous 4 catches and the releases. That's the best I can do. Alright, so here's proof that I caught 4 fish and released 4 fish. There you go. You see it? It just swam off. It's not attached to my kayak or my hand or anything else. He's gone. Alright, that's 4 fish in the boat, 4 fish released. I caught 5 on the day. Now, the controversy starts when I go back around the corner to the first tree that I caught the first fish in late in the day around 2 o'clock. I fished the same bank and I pitched to the same trees multiple times again. And I got a 5th bite, which I thought was my limit. I had 5 fish. I don't have video of it, but I caught the 5th fish in the first tree that I caught the first fish in at 7 o'clock in the morning. This fish I caught at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. The same fish, evidently. I had no idea. This is where the controversy starts. And I thought I secured a 3rd place finish, but not so fast. All right, so just to give a quick recap, it was an epic battle throughout the day. This was the first time I was ever in contention for a kayak bass fishing tournament. It was a coaster ride. There's a blackout period during the last hour, so you don't know how you're doing. All you have is the last update before the blackout period, and at that time, I thought I was either in first or second. But when we got to the award ceremony at the ramp, there were two other guys that basically didn't load their fish up until the blackout period, and they came in first and second, as you can see. So that was a little disappointing. And I thought that I had a real shot to win this. I was excited about it. To go from practice and not catching anything, not having a bite, to coming into this tournament without a clue of what to do and actually being in contention was exhilarating. It just took me to a whole nother level that I didn't even know existed. It was so much fun. Now for the controversy. My fifth fish, and I didn't know this until a couple days after the tournament, was disqualified. Yes, disqualified. Let me explain. Alright, so after the roller coaster ride that I've been on, going from first to second to third, then learning I got my fish disqualified and dropping to 6, this is the reason why. They said that I caught the same fish twice. And the picture I just posted up on the screen, the fish on the left hand side of the screen I caught at 7:35 a.m. The same fish was caught again, they said, at 1:56 p.m. during the same tournament. And then I was sent this rule, that violation circled in red, that you can't catch the same fish in the same tournament on the same day. So at this point, I'm devastated. Because I'm thinking, all right, I've had one of my best finishes. I finished third. Now I'm totally disqualified. And there was some confusion. I thought I was totally disqualified because I caught the same fish. But after I got some clarification on it, they disqualified just the one fish that I caught again. So instead of having a 5-fish limit, I had a 4-fish limit, and it dropped me from third place all the way down to 6th place. Now, I didn't learn this until Wednesday after the tournament. The tournament was over on Sunday. So I went from, hey, Carl, send us a W-9 on Monday or Tuesday, to Wednesday, hey, Carl, I hate to break this to you, but we're going to have to DQ you. And I was just in disbelief. I couldn't believe it. And I studied these pictures. I studied them, and the fish do look the same. I mean, I really, it's a hard argument to say that they're not the same fish. So there it is. I mean, that's how you can get DQ'd in a tournament, a kayak fishing tournament, by catching the same fish. I mean, I never would have thought in a million years I would catch the same fish in a tournament. Nonetheless, catch the same fish on the same day. But it happened. I think it was probably a bedding fish in the same tree, and it is what it is. I had to take it on the chin. So this is the first time I'm telling this story. So hopefully any other kayak anglers out there can learn from my mistake, and hopefully be a little bit more careful, especially in the spring when they're spawning and they're on beds, because this can happen to somebody else, and I would hate to see it happen to someone that actually won a tournament, because that would be devastating. So in the comments, let me know what you think. Is it the same fish? What would you have done? Was it the right call? Let me know how you feel. Be interested to see what you guys have to say about it. All right, so that's it. Oh, and before I go, with this tournament, even though I finished in sixth, I dropped down to sixth place. It boosted me to third in the AOI standings. So this was the point in the season where everything sort of changed for me. I had no intentions of fishing the whole trail, but when I looked up and I saw the standings, and I said, "Wow, I've never been that high before." So I had to keep fishing the rest of the trail. So just to see what can happen, you never know. Because at the end of the year, I think there's like a prize of like $1,800 if you win, and you qualify for the Classic Championship at the end of the year. There's a lot of prizes and money at stake, so I would be a fool to just let it go and not fish the rest of the trail. So I continued on, and this is the start of that story.